What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we are here with Grand Party Day number 2. So in my day 1 video, you guys would have seen the team that I would have been using, and we are using pretty much the exact same team. However, instead of using that strength team that I did have on the team, and I think strength is okay, but I just feel like considering this season and the dominance of Quick that the Quick will have this season, it didn't make a ton of sense to have a strength team on, so I decided to switch it up. I went up against an opponent that had a strength team, so I'm like, alright, let's go ahead and build this Quick team and see how it goes. And surprise, surprise, when Quick and Powerhouse are heavily boosted, they end up actually performing pretty well. So I do think that, if you go up against a strength team, as long as you have those key pillars of like some of those really old units, like the Quick team to build is actually pretty easy because a lot of the units are relatively old, right? Like super type Kaido, he's got a super evolution somewhat recently, right? And with that it was a free unit in Rumble and stuff like that. Like Ace versus Akainu, very old unit by this point. Tesoro, very old unit by this point. And then like Legend Sugar, like running those 4 characters against strength opponents, that usually is going to be more than enough to get the job done, but especially with further attack increase and special CT increase this season for Quick, it's just going to be the way to go, I feel, at least if we're up against strength. The problem that I think Quick would have is up against stuff that isn't strength, and I don't know if I have enough faith to go blind with a Quick team against a random opponent. I just don't think it's going to be great. But, in this early part of the season, if you can see that you're up against strength, just use a Quick team. It's going to be really good. You're going to have really good success with it. That's just the way that I feel. Interesting about this little game that you just saw right now, actually went to time. I have not gone to time in a really long time in Grand Party, but we're able to secure the dub there against the opposing Free Spirit squad. Shout out to Brook for being awesome. He's a really, really good asset to our squad here. And then here's the Quick team that goes absolutely bonkers against this opponent's strength team. So moving on to our second match of day number 2, we're actually up against a Jinbe, with the Memory Straw Hats Jinbe. So we're going to go ahead and go up against him, and I actually had to double check exactly what his GP burst skill does. It does apply a bunch of buffs to his side of the field, and also does a little bit of damage, but it's the fact that the requirement to launch the burst skill is reduced by like 40%, and in order to use the burst skill naturally, you have to deal 30,000 damage to the opponent, so reducing that by 40% means that you're able to launch that very, very easily. And also they get an additional burst skill as well. So Jinbe can use his skill 5 times in an entire match set of Grand Party, and it's not actually that difficult to proc either. So I was a little concerned heading into this one, but considering my opponent's teams, I felt relatively confident going into it. I would say though that if it was going to be like a blind matchup and I didn't know what teams my opponent actually had, I definitely would have been a bit more concerned. But at the end of the day, if I see Jinbe, I know it's probably going to be on a Quick team, a Quick Powerhouse, something like that. And Sai is still pretty good against those, considering Wano Law exists. Heavily nerfing the capabilities of some of those Powerhouse and driven characters, which is really good against Quick, because most of the times if you're up against a Quick team, it's probably going to be driven or Powerhouse. Albeit there is, the Quick Slasher team, which is also pretty good. However, the Quick Slashers, some of those are also driven in Powerhouse, and Slashers are also nerfed with CT speed down this season, so don't really know how great that will actually be against a Sai team, for example. But yeah, luckily, all things considered, my opponent had this burst skill ready to go in match 1 for such a long time. I was waiting for them to use it. Luckily, they didn't really use it at like a really critical point. We actually had pretty decent HP by the time they used it, and luckily for us, Nami Karina were able to consistently reverse their specials, which really made a difference in this little matchup. And then of course to finish this little match, we do have an opponent's strength team, which of course we're going to go ahead and use quick once again, and surprise surprise, it worked incredibly well, so no real issues there. So I'll see you guys in the final matchup of day number 2 in the next little clip here. And then luckily for us, in our third match of day number 2, we were able to locate an opponent's randomized team, which is great. You know, you absolutely love to see that. So no real concerns at all, and we go ahead and get the job done against that opponent there. So also because it's day number 2, we got our wins. We also have a legend ticket. So the legend ticket will be at the end of this clip. So there was a timestamp probably in this video that you can go ahead and have a look at. Also, something to reiterate, make sure that you are changing your GP leader at the end of every single day, just to ensure that it makes it much easier for opponents to get their wins. You get nothing from defending wins in Grand Party, so don't try and build the most craziest teams out there. Go ahead, change your GP leader after you go ahead and get the job done. Remember that if you just change to a different team, that will not work. You can edit the team that you currently have to make things a bit easier, but as I said, change your GP leader. It's going to make it easier for everyone. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.実在した最強